Welcome back to pregame.tv. Monday Night Football. We've got Minnesota at the New York Giants. I'm sorry, we have to do it. Blame Monday Night Football, or we would not be talking about this game. I don't know about you guys, but you know, you got to be sitting there, and probably at the beginning of the season, you know, Monday Night Football, you're making the schedule. Minnesota Giants, not bad. You know, Minnesota showed some life last year. Got Adrian Peterson. New York Giants in this division, they're going to be in the thick of things.
Four groups of people are going to be interested in this game: Giants fans, Vikings fans, sports bettors, and fantasy football guys. Anybody else can take the night off. In fact, I don't play fantasy football, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of either one of these teams. Marco and I usually go out for Monday Night Football. Now what the hell are we going to do? We might have to go to strip club or something.
There you go.
That's it. You're going to have to bet the total.
Well, you know, hey, you know, Monday Night Football, happy hour, eating, you know, that's me and Brian. We're, you know, the Monday Night Posse, and then...
The eating part is his favorite. The happy hour part is mine.
Yeah, and then I truck down to, you know, either run home to do the show or go see you live, which every Monday night for anybody that's in Las Vegas. Ken does his show live from Lugosi Stadium. And, you know, if you're watching the video and you're ever coming to town, got to check out, you know, Lugosi Stadium.
Inside the Venetian and Palazzo, top tier.
I know we're giving them a free plug here. Tell them I need a burger next time I'm there.
Just a room. You know? They're all sweet. 7,000, largest $5 resort in the world.
There you go.
And I don't want to blow smoke, but I will. Since it's the first time I work with you, I really admire the work you do on the radio. I always learn something. You're very in-depth at what you do. And for those who are actual sports fans and want to learn, you want to listen to Ken and Chuck. They're awesome.
Thank you very much, Brian. Coming from you, that's a supreme compliment. Coming from Marco, I wouldn't take it with
He's a brown-noser. Steelers fan.
All right. Brian, I mean, we look at this game, and the first question I got to throw to you, Minnesota, this team, they're in total disarray, in my opinion. You've got a quarterback, Christian Ponder, that starts the season. The only good thing that I could ever say about Christian Ponder is I love his wife. After that, there's nothing good to say about Christian Ponder. He just hasn't gotten it done in the NFL. Then they go to backup Matt Castle that, you know, here's a guy that had parlayed one season with New England, and we saw it was more of the system than him. Was able to take the Patriots, you know, and still have a winning record when Brady went down that year. Parlayed that into a nice contract that now he's no longer at Kansas City. So what do? We go out and get disgruntled Josh Freeman, which, again, we've seen. I don't know if the problem's Josh Freeman or if it's the coach at Tampa, but something definitely didn't smell right in Tampa that you release your quarterback, you know, in the middle of the season, and they pick him up. Not only do they pick him up, he's starting after only being in camp. You know, he got to camp last week. He didn't play last week, but now he's starting this week. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Christian Ponder is my idol. Not only are you an NFL quarterback, you're now a third-string NFL quarterback who doesn't got to worry about getting hit and getting brain damage, and you're married to a hot woman, and you're getting paid a lot of money.
You're getting paid first-string quarterback.
First-string quarterback money.
Not good gig. I'd take that one.
You take that, sure. even the guy from Pittsburgh's smart enough to realize that.
All I know is he's not endeared himself to the FSU alumni base as he went with Clemson in the last video, and he's dissing on Christian Ponder over here. Oh, boy.
Brian, what do you make of them starting Josh Freeman? I mean, seriously, how much of the playbook can he hit?
That's my only concern, but really, you've got to move on. This is not a team who's going to the playoffs this year. Christian Ponder won't be with the team any longer after this season. I thought there was a few teams out there. I'm surprised the Cleveland Browns didn't go after Freeman. They need a quarterback right now. Buffalo needs a quarterback.
That's where
right
I thought Buffalo would have went.
You know, this is a guy, when he came out of college, he was a big, strong guy, big, strong arm, a guy that was physical and he could run. And he you know, we talked about it. I remember back when he was in college, and I get together with one of our friends, Sean Hess, and he was talking about it. And I said, this guy right here could be the #1 draft choice because he's got all the tools for the NFL. I still think he does. I mean, he's never had great players around him in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, is a good defensive team. He's never, in my opinion, he's never had great receivers. I don't know if he's got them now with Minnesota, but the guy has some tools. And considering a lot of these guys around the league starting in the NFL right now just are not very good. We know a guy that just got released and picked up again that played one football game and had some success. And so it's hard to find good quality quarterbacks in the NFL. And to get a guy with the tools like he does, maybe it's a coaching situation. I think it'll help him. This week, I'm not so sure.
Ken, one thing that definitely will help is when you've got a running back in the backfield named Adrian Peterson, I can go in and probably be able to run 3/4 of the plays that they're going to run on Sunday because it's going to be.
That's the most exercise he gets.
But here's the thing.
Seen me at the buffet line.
Well, we saw Minnesota last week, and you could say what you want on the Adrian Peterson situation, where their heads in the game, where they're not in the game. They were at home. It was a game that they had to have if they had any thoughts of entertaining playoffs or postseason. And they were just blown out from the beginning of the game. They did not look good. And they had Adrian Peterson. And whether or not, again, his head was in the game, he said he wanted to be there. He wanted to play. That was going to be his release from the death of his son, to be out there on the field and to excel. And not only did he not excel, the team was a joke. They were manhandled. Castle was exposed. And so now you have to go with Freeman. Number one, Leslie Frazier, he's already in trouble over there. Okay, he's already trying to show that he's a legit coach and that he deserves the job. So what does he do since they go out and get Freeman? They've got to play him, and he's praying to God that he has a big-time game so that he can show that he made a right move going after him. And then they can kind of blame everything on Schiano over there and say, hey, look, we got the right kid. He's a good kid. He's a good quarterback. But he does have a lot of potential. There is no doubt.
Well, let's look at the flip side for a second. The Giants. I mean, this team, they're horrible right now. They can't run the ball at all. Eli, had so many interceptions this year. I mean, part of it's because they're so far behind, and when you become a one-dimensional team, I don't care how good or bad a defense is. When you make one team one-dimensional, that defense is going to play better because you're just going to pin your ears and come back at them. Can the Giants right the ship, and is Tom Coughlin going to make the season? I mean, what do you think?
I think he makes the season. Here's the thing, too. When we look at the Giants from the past years, what do we look at? Pass rush. Always a good, solid pass rush with Pierre, Paul, Tuck. I mean, when these guys were healthy, they put a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterbacks, as was evident when the Jets beat Atlanta. If you do not have a pass rush, which Atlanta does not have, and you let someone like Geno Smith sit back, he will pick you apart. Geno Smith is not a good quarterback, but he looked like he was in his heyday at West Virginia because he had all day. And that's what you're seeing against the Giants defense. So Eli and company, they're playing uphill. He's back there. He doesn't have a running game. Wilson, everybody thought was going to be the heir apparent. He has not stepped up. Brown got hurt early. They're back to Jacobs, for the love of God. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he plays hard, but he's not the answer in the backfield. So Eli's back there. He's gunslinging. Yeah, he's got Nix and Cruz, but they don't have the reliable tight end that they've had over the past. Eli's on his own, really. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, you were talking about the pass rush. For years, the Giants didn't really have that great of defensive backs, and it was camouflaged because of the pass rush. Mm-hmm. Now that they don't have the pass rush, the defensive backs are getting burned.
Well, Brian,
Good
hate
luck.
to do it. It's your free pick. We got to make it official. God bless you for taking this game.
Thanks, Brian.
I won't even be watching this game, to be totally honest with you. But if I have to play this game, I will play the Giants. Let's take a look at some of the things here that make me point to New York. Now, granted, Marco made a good point, as they're putting a lot of yards up because they're behind in the games. Actually, the Giants are averaging more yards per play than they're giving up. Obviously, it's because they have to pass the ball because they're behind in the games. The Vikings are down 0.3 yards per play worse than what they're producing themselves. And once again, it makes a lot of sense. We got a running football team. But you take a look at the turnovers here. On the season, Minnesota's dead even. Break even, 0. The Giants, minus 16. There's a lot of reasons why the Giants are minus 16, but you know they're not going to continue to be minus 16. This is a team they don't need to fall behind. They probably won't fall behind on, and they don't need to pass the entire game. So I think a different game plan here. Take a look at the records of the teams these teams have played. When you back out the games against these two teams right here, the Vikings have played a .435 opponent winning percentage, much below break even in the NFL. The New York Giants, when you take out the games against them, their opponents are winning 62.1% of their games. They played a much tougher schedule. And so we're looking at the Giants team right here that don't have to worry about coming back in this game. They're personnel-wise, they're pretty equal with Minnesota, but they played a much tougher schedule. You know, somebody had to put out a player in this game. I'm going to do it. As long as you're laying 3, right now it's 3 minus 120. I don't really want to lay to 3.5. Obviously, I don't want 4 if it's going that way. I think it'll probably close at 3.5, but no more than 3.5, and 3 is better. If it's more than 3.5, no play for me. But right now, at the current line, I'm going to play the Giants. I think there's a little bit of value on the Giants.
All right, now we're taping on Wednesday, so it's one of the reasons why we do these videos earlier in the week. A lot of times we'll tell you, hey, wait on a game because we think it's going up or something, or bet it now because you're going to get the best number now. And so it pays to watch these videos. But Bryan, clear cut, he's telling you, I love him at 3. I'm taking him at 3.5, but I'm done there.
I think if you get the same effort that they gave in Chicago against the Bears, I think the Giants win the game too.
Yeah, they're to the point where they're getting a little bit of value in the marketplace, and even the guys who don't really follow football, you listen to David Letterman or whatever, they're making jokes about the Giants. So when it gets to that point, everybody knows the Giants aren't any good. So the only people that are going to be betting the Giants in this game are going to be guys that are value guys, numbers guys, and those are the guys I trust.
The only good thing to say with the Giants, and you mentioned the Chicago game, and I said it that week on radio, if the Giants were going to show up and play a game, it was going to be because it was a single standalone game where they're the only one, that's the only game people are watching. These guys are, professionals. They've got pride. They don't want to. They're not happy that they're winless. They're going to show up and play. And so the best thing for them is they're on another national primetime game.
And 3 days extra rest. Remember, they played the Thursday game against Chicago.
So,
guys, Book of Manning, last chapter. Does Eli win first or Peyton lose first?
It looks like Peyton's going to, he's on his way to win.
Well, the numbers say the Giants are a 3-point favorite, and Peyton's team's a 6-point favorite in that range. So I have to say the Giants win first. Makes sense.
Giants win before the.
Well, they got to be what, a 56% chance of winning this game, 60%.
Yeah, I got to go that
with
way.
The numbers. 60 actually higher than that.
I don't see them. Well, they got a tough game this week, though, going back to play your Indianapolis Colts.
Take care.
You're going to be torn. Are you loyal to the Colts no matter what?
No matter what. No matter what. Thank you, Peyton, for 14 great years and the Super Bowl. That Irsay really wasn't dissing them. They said it would have been nice to win more while we had Peyton there. Same thing, the Atlanta Braves fans say, hey, we won 14 straight NL East, divisions. Would have been nicer to have more than one World Series victory. But
let me ask. I hate to prolong, but I think maybe some people out there are interested in this also. The total in that game. What's the advantage in the total? Does Indy come out? Obviously, Luck wants to prove that he was the man. Does he want to put up bigger yardage than Peyton, or does Peyton come out and say, "This is the team that forgot about me. The team didn't want to give me the contract. I want to stick it to him"? I mean, is the over a decent play?
I like the over. I would only play the over, especially the Colts coming off scoring only 9 points against San Diego in the short week. I think, a lot of people will be hesitant to play the Colts over after watching what they watched last, 3 field goals.
But, of course, with what Manning's been doing, it's hard to think anything other than the over, in being that it's a
I see the game in the 60s minimum, and it's 56.
Being it's a primetime game, you're gonna pay a premium for the over. And by game time, I don't know what it's sitting at the moment.
I think 56.
It's gonna move come Sunday, no question about that. So, but honestly, if I'm Indianapolis and I'm game planning trying to win this game, I don't know that I want to trade the points with them. I know Dallas did it. That was the option they went with, and they almost pulled it off. Romo, like him or not, he's more seasoned. I don't know if Luck's ready to go.
I
go toe to toe.
I would only take Denver minus the 6.5 right now, being a Colts fan on a short week, first off. And Dallas played a perfect game up until that last play. Almost a perfect game, and still lost.
If I'm Indianapolis, I think I take a look at San Diego's game plan, and I try to apply that maybe myself against Denver and try to, pound the ball. And, You can't score if the other team's not on the field.
You can't score if you drop
Well,
six
yes, you can
passes
if you have
either.
the Chicago defense.
This is true. All right, guys, we went a little long on that one. Want to thank Bryan Leonard making a move over to Wednesday
we're
Crew.
happy to have you, Bryan. Cool.
And my partner in crime, Ken Thomson. Catch him every night here in Las Vegas, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9, SportsX Radio, 720 on the AM dial. And I always forget the Arizona station.
Is KFNX AM 1100 down there in Phoenix.
All right. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Thanks, guys. We'll be back next week. The B Crew, they'll be back Tuesday. You got Steve Fezzik, Vegas Runner, and Brady Cannon on Tuesdays. And then we'll be back next Wednesday with our place. Have a great week, guys. Cash a lot of tickets.